Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Q&A ahead of Game Week 11. I'm joined by a slightly late Sam, but it's your birthday tomorrow, so we'll let you off.
Sorry. It's my birthday tomorrow. I'm going to be really old. That's why. It's like the old age pensioner in me now. Like, to get my bus pass out to get on the stream these days.
Yeah, too busy looking out the window at the people parked on the pavement, you know, oh, you damn kids, ball over the fence, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, moaning at the kids next door.
Yeah, it sounds like you. Yeah. How you doing anyway? You all right?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I've had a couple of good weeks,
I know.
What's going on?
I know.
Good FPL weeks.
I mean, after last season, it was, every week just seemed to be getting kind of worse and worse for you. And I felt a bit bad sometimes. But this year, it's the opposite. Look at that. You're in the top million. You're flying high. You're half my rank now.
Am I?
Yeah. I'm 1.6. You're 800.
It's gone really well the last couple of weeks. And I was annoyed, actually, last week. Because like Reece James coming on for those 18 minutes, stay on the bench, Reece. I've got Aronson coming off the bench if you stay there. Maddison blanking when I had Pereira on the bench. It's kind of like, oh, come on now. But it has been, it's been a good 3 weeks. I think it's been three like really nice chunky green arrows. So I'm a little bit apprehensive about game week 12 now because the Reece James thing has thrown my plans into a little bit of disarray, but wildcard coming into game week 13. So the next time you hear from me, my wildcard will be active.
Yep. I mean, you were 3 million in game week 7, and now you're 829k in game week 10. So you've a third of your rank. So yeah, really good, really good start. Hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you. We've already had a super chat. Do get your super chats in. As always, half of the money raised will go to Street Child United, where Gianni is at the moment. He's out in Qatar running Street Child United. The World Cup is going on. It's all about raising awareness and funds for children living and working on the streets kind of across the world. So really, really nice charity. It's a really crazy week. I'm sure there's questions. I'm sure the questions are most going to be, what the hell do we do with Trent and Reece James? We'll try and answer those kind of as we go. Quite a few people wishing you happy birthday, Sam. It's nice, isn't it?
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Yep. Just before we get into the Q&A, just a word from our sponsor, which is Fantasy 5 for this stream. If you're not aware of Fantasy 5, it's a free-to-play game where you pick 5 players across 5 matches. All the players have a fantasy points target, and if all 5 of your picks meet their target, you win £10,000. I play each week. I haven't won yet. These were my picks last week. Maddison, Son, Paqueta, Jesus and Anthony. I really thought I was going to win this, last week. 4 out of 5 of them returned, but none of them reached their target. No. The winners from the games, West Ham, Fulham, if you'd picked Andreas Pereira, if you'd gone for Casemiro or Iwobi in Everton United.
Iwobi?
I know. See, it's not the big names that do it. It's the ones, it's like players like Iwobi who just need an assist and they have a target of really low points. They're the ones, sometimes it's good to go for. Bournemouth Leicester had quite a few, Billing being one of the big names. There was no winners though in the Brighton Spurs match, so no one achieved.
Let's not mention it as.
No, let's not talk about that. I don't want to get into an argument about that. And Arsenal Liverpool, there was quite a few.
I probably wouldn't argue with you, to be fair.
I've already had a go at one of my Spurs friends in a WhatsApp chat. One of Planet FPL James. I don't want to, us to fall out.
It's unlikely that you'd get an argument out of me on it, to be honest. I probably feel similar to how you did. I thought we were quite lucky.
Good. I'm glad. The fact there was no winners in it, I think shows the kind of job that Spurs did. It was, it was a cagey
our
game.
defenders were the best players on the pitch.
They were. And then Arsenal Liverpool. So there's links in the description. Give it a play. Sam and I were doing our selections ahead of next game week. Yeah, and try and win 10 grand for free. Why not? Right, let's talk about game week 11. Oh, I mean, I genuinely could use some help. Maybe I should put a super chat in.
With life or with FPL?
Well, both. Let's take Dave Thomas's super chat first. Got Sterling in on a punt ahead of game week 7. 2 cancellations, a 2-pointer and a benching. Should I keep the faith or transfer out for Son? That's brutal.
You've got to keep the faith. You have to keep the faith, don't you? If you've invested in Sterling, I think you have to keep him, don't you?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I think. Don't you think? I don't think you can. He's had the benching now.
Yeah.
Surely.
It is. I mean, I did not expect that Chelsea lineup at all. from Potter. You know,
It
James
was
bench,
bonkers.
Sterling. You know, Aubameyang was benched, who we were talking about last week.
Chilwell.
I know it was a crazy week. I mean, Sterling has played 90 minutes in pretty much every other game this season.
Yep.
I still think he's Chelsea's best weapon, and Potter knows that. So I'm not expecting him to be benched often. I think you're probably right. I think that probably was his one benching. You can't really look at past things with this kind of. I know there was 2 cancellations. There's nothing you can do about that. That's not Sterling's fault.
No.
The benching was annoying and caught a lot of people off guard, but you've got to think he gets back in the team, and it's a good run of games for Sterling. You know, Villa, Brentford, United at home, Brighton away. That's all right. I'd keep him. I'd keep him.
I would too. I mean, I think Son could be an option, but the problem with Son is, and I'm still firmly in the camp of it depends on who else is on the Spurs pitch as to what Son you're going to get. Like, I firmly believe that that's the case. You get Son without Perisic, you get good Son. You get Son with Perisic, you get less than average Son. And whereas with Sterling, I kind of think that Chelsea proved against Wolves last week that, and I know it was against Wolves, but Wolves defensively aren't that bad usually, that they're a bit of a force now, right? They've got good players. They are building something under Potter. He's creating something that means that he can afford to rotate some of his better players and still take 3 points out of the game. But, you know, I think Chelsea should pretty much be there now in the Champions League and another set of points in the next fixture, and they're through in that. So we should see less rotation, I think, with Sterling over the next few weeks. And I do like what Potter is doing at Chelsea, and I like where they're heading. And I think a lot of people in the next few weeks, myself included, when our wildcard, will be looking for routes into the Chelsea team. And Sterling will likely be a popular pick. So I think if you already own him, just stick with would be my feeling on it.
I think so. I mean, they're improving, right? Chelsea are improving under Potter. I'm impressed it's been this quick. The kind of transformation, but you know, it's 2 really impressive wins against AC Milan, who are a top team in Italy. Big win against Wolves, you know, with their second string squad. I completely agree. They are definitely building something. And Sterling, you know, I'm looking at players who not many people have got to try and, you know, get ahead. And I look at someone like Sterling and I think I'm not going to be able to get him because my midfield is doing okay. But if I had him, I'd be pretty happy. I'd be excited. He's one of the few players who I'd actually be excited about.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, cool. That actually answers Kelzan K's super chat as well. Keep or sell Sterling for a hit. I definitely wouldn't sell him for a hit.
Keep.
Yeah, definitely keep him. There's no one that I'd want for a 4-point hit more than Sterling this week against Villa. I'd definitely keep him. Damien Brains, Doherty. Yes, thank you, Damien, because I want to talk about Doherty as a James replacement. Happy birthday, Sam.
Thank you.
I'm this close, Sam. I'm this close to buying Doherty.
To bringing him in.
Yep.
Okay. I thought he was excellent against Brighton. I thought him and Sessegnon were the best players on the Spurs pitch. I thought, given what Conte had said about him not being ready, he went out there with the point to prove that he was ready and that he could do this, and he did it really well against a really good Brighton team. Like, a lot of people look at that 1-0 Spurs and go, boring Spurs. Actually, Brighton are a really, really, really good team. They've got really good players. They're defensively solid, and in attack, they look so much better since the new manager's come in. Like, they're just more threatening, even than they had been in the early part of this season, where I still thought that actually Brighton were good going forward. So my view is that Sessegnon and Doherty did a really good job on that side. And I think Doherty has played better in that one game than I've seen Royale play across the entire season so far. And, you know, Royale comes back into the team for the Champions League because, of course, not suspended in that. And every time he got the ball was like, here we go again. It's going to be another failed cross. It's going to be another pointless attack because it's ended up with him. Whereas when Doherty takes it forward, he's got some final product in him. He's got a good cross in him. He's got a good pass. He can pick it out. I like him, and I wonder whether in the next, because he's going to start the next 2. I don't see him playing the Perisic Sessegnon thing because he's had the rotation around the Champions League with Royale. So I think it will be Doherty on that side for the next 2 games in 11 and 12, sorry. And I think in that time, if he plays like he did against Brighton, against Everton at the weekend, and then take some of that form into Manchester United in midweek, we could see him hold his spot.
Because I just need Doherty. There's a few people in the chat saying, in a couple of weeks, Emerson comes back, and then we're not really sure kind of what happens there. But I only need Doherty for 2 weeks, because then I'm going to go move straight back to Cancelo, right? That's what a lot of people are thinking of doing if you haven't got him like I have, for example. I guess if you're buying like a long-term pick for that spot, there's probably better options. But I just need for 2 weeks. And with Emerson
if you
suspended...
want a 2-week pick, I think he plays them both.
I don't know whether I'm happy or upset that you've said he's a decent option.
What did you want me to say? You wanted me to say he's not an option?
Yeah, pretty much. Because Cucurella's safer, right? Or Dyer or some of the other boring. But Doherty is the only exciting defender that I can really think of, him and Perisic. But I don't think Perisic starts both.
I don't either. I think
he's out of favour.
I agree. I think what we've got with Perisic is a Sessegnon who, for me, the last 2 games, the Champions League game in midweek, as well as the game against Brighton, were the best matches I've ever seen Sessegnon play in a Spurs shirt. I thought that he was excellent. And he deserved the man of the match, I thought, against Brighton, because he was really good. And that's testament to how good Brighton were going forward, that he was the one that was picked out as man of the match, right? My feeling is that he starts one of these games. I don't think he gets dropped. So which way round do I think it comes? Even if Perisic does start one of them, I don't think he's going to play 90 minutes. I think he'll come, he might come on for 20 minutes at the end of one of the games and go off, early in another. I think Sessegnon's a difficult pick, not because I don't like him, but because I don't think he plays the next 2. But I do think that Doc plays the next 2.
I guess it's tricky because it was only last week when Conte was saying, Doherty's not showing what he showed me last season. He's not ready to start, and I don't want to lose with him playing in the team. And now suddenly it's like, oh, actually now
we haven't lost with him in the team.
No, well that is true. Yeah, I mean he was all right. I thought against Brighton. He's the most natural right wing back you've got out of all the options. Emerson, Spence. I mean Spence can do it as well, but he's completely out of favour at the moment, isn't he? But I think he's the most kind of experienced, and he's played in that position a lot, and had a good season for you last year. I mean, it would have to be. I think Perisic plays Everton, plays on the left, and Doherty on the right, and then I think Sessegnon comes in against United, and Doherty keeps his spot, and Perisic drops out, because it's really interesting that Perisic didn't play in that Champions League game, which was an important game.
But I think that was testament to how well Doherty Doherty and Sessegnon did, So Doherty was always going to miss that one because Royale was available. Yeah. And I think probably Conte's plan was that Sessegnon would play the Brighton game, Perisic gets a rest, Perisic comes in for the Champions League game. But I think it's way more. It's a way bigger thing than just who plays better in that wing-back position, because if you're making a straight choice between Perisic and Sessegnon as to who's the better player in that pitch, well, at the moment it's still Perisic that is the better player, but the impact that Perisic has on the rest of the Spurs team I don't think is as good as the impact that Sessegnon has, because for me, whenever Perisic is in the starting 11, I'm like, well, that's Son having a terrible game then. And then whenever Sessegnon's there, I always think, oh, there you go, that's going to be a good game for Son. And so far, that's what we're seeing. Son and Sessegnon's relationship is so much better because Perisic likes the positions that Son also likes. So if I'm Conte, I'm looking at that Spurs team thinking, well, that I've got 2 issues to weigh up. I've got the Perisic versus Sessegnon in terms of who's the better defender in that slot, but I've also got the added complication that's, well, who has the better impact on the rest of the Spurs squad going into 2 must-win fixtures. If we win this game, this against Everton at the weekend, this will be our best ever start to a Premier League, the first 10 games of a Premier League season. Didn't know that. Yeah, so 22 is currently our best point. We're on 22 at the moment, and 23 is our best. So if we win this game, it'll be our best ever start. So, when you think about how arguably poor Spurs have been in these opening fixtures, what we've seen when Son is at his best is much, much better performances. Our best performances have come when Perisic hasn't been on the pitch.
Wow. Okay. Right. I'm sold. Doherty it is. Go for the
He'll give you a massive green arrow as well if Spurs keep a clean sheet.
What is he, 0.3% owned or something? Really low.
It'd be massive.
Yep.
You'll be starting a bandwagon.
I will. The Doherty bandwagon. I didn't think I'd be doing that this season. It's amazing how quickly things can turn around, isn't it? Just a red card for Royale, and suddenly Doherty is his flavour of the week. PB, should I play Pope or Ward? I think that's an easy one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you've got Pope, you've got to play him.
There's absolutely no way I would play Ward against Leicester, against Palace. Sorry, they're gonna
No.
get ruined by Zaha and Eze and Elise and Edouard up
Well,
top.
we all hope that they are. All of us Zaha owners.
I'd definitely play Pope. I mean, look at United last night. I mean, you know, they scored in the last minute, but they had so many chances. The keeper was fantastic. Pope would have got about a 12-point haul if he'd played in that game. He made so many saves, the goalkeeper. They're still not that clinical in front of goal. I definitely play Pope.
Like conceding one though. I just think Pope's got less chance of conceding loads.
So do I.
Therefore,
I'd definitely
go Pope.
Yeah, I'd play Pope. Okay, Delia. Hi, Delia.
Hi, Delia.
Delia's on a wild card.
Ooh,
Nice. Should I get Salah in for KDB? What do you think about Palace? And should I keep Trossard?
Keep Trossard. That's easy.
Definitely.
Trossard.
I think he's one of the best captain options midweek as well.
Game week 12, I do
home
too.
to Forest.
Yeah, I do too.
Definitely keep.
I really like Trossard.
Definitely keep him.
When I wildcard, I'll be 100% bringing him in.
Yeah.
What were the other questions? Shall I get Salah?
Yep.
Well, again, right. So
well, actually, sorry. The question is actually, should I get Salah or KDB? You definitely get Salah over KDB, considering KDB hasn't got a game in 12.
Yeah, but I guess the bigger question there is: do you keep KDB for the Liverpool game and then move him to Salah for the midweek game? Because you could do that, couldn't you? If you think,
yeah, I suppose
you could book the midweek transfer in. I suppose
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I'd just go. I'd just go
the
for Salah.
problem I have with would you see the problem I have with Salah is that I think Luis Diaz is a massive miss, an absolutely massive miss to that Liverpool attack. Like he's been their better player for me this season, and we saw Salah come on against a tiring Rangers team, and it's Rangers. What are we gonna see from Salah against Manchester City? A Manchester City side that's rested because apparently they all had disturbing issues in midweek, so they all got a rest. According to Pep, they were all tired, so they've all had a rest in midweek. They've all and they're in great form, and they're playing in second gear, Manchester City, and they can easily click that up and go full out attack at Liverpool at the weekend. And then in midweek, you've got Salah playing a growing in confidence and looking a lot better West Ham team. So I'm not convinced that Salah's worth it.
The way I'm looking at quite a few, because I was debating just getting Cancelo in right this week and playing him against Liverpool, then just riding out the blank. But let's imagine this week was a double game week, and it was Liverpool with City at home, and then West Ham at home, 2 games.
Yeah. Or
KDB with 1 game away at Anfield. You'd pick Salah every day.
I don't disagree with you on that, but is Salah the best pick? Like, is Son not a better pick? Is Sterling not a better pick for the fixtures they have?
Well, that wasn't the question.
That's
a separate topic, I guess.
If I was wildcarding, I don't think I'd get Salah, I think is the point I was making.
Okay.
So I agree with you that if the straight choice is between KDB and Salah, then I think Salah is the option you go for the next 2 game weeks because of what you've just said. But if you're on a wild card, the issue isn't really a straight choice between Salah and KDB, is it? It's Salah and KDB or another. And my view is that maybe that or another.
So would you pick Son, Sterling? If I had Salah, I would captain him in game week 12.
I wouldn't trust him.
Interesting. See, that's where we differ, I guess. Because I think out of the premiums, I know West Ham have been decent defensively, but it's still a good fixture. And
I'd rather captain Trossard than Salah.
Would you?
Game week 12. Yeah.
Interesting. See, I wouldn't. If I would, I'd still put Salah at the top.
I'll captain Kane against Manchester United before I would Salah against West Ham. So there's a lot of, so for me, I guess that clouds my judgment slightly on the KDB Salah thing, because I think if you're adamant it has to be one of those 2, then yes, go Salah.
Yeah.
But if there is a part of you that thinks beyond those fixtures, then, and the other thing is, it's getting yourself in a situation that you're prepared for the future, isn't it? When you probably want Foden in or whoever it is that you want rather than KDB. So going down to Sterling or Son from KDB is still, you can still drop them down further again than to Foden the week after. So yeah, for me, I would look at the other options over Salah. But of the two, KDB versus Salah, then yes, go Salah.
Okay. For me, if I was wildcarding, I'd have Salah. So we are completely different at that. I think they've just had a massive win in the Champions League playing Salah up top as a striker. He's not going to suddenly not do that now. Like, that worked. He's not going to put him back on the wing
It's
and
against
say
Rangers, though.
It was, but it's a system, right? It's all about systems. He's not going to suddenly be like, oh, that system worked really well, and this system that's been awful for us all season, let's go back to that. Like, why would he do that? He's going to carry on playing what's working. Firmino's going to come in, which is going to be a boost for Salah. He's going to play Salah further up front.
With Jota, probably.
Yeah. I think he's all right. I think he's all right.
I just think they're going to get smashed. I honestly think that Liverpool are going to get absolutely smashed by City at the weekend.
Yeah, but then but you're not captaining him this week. It's purely for that West Ham game at home. Anyway, there you go, Delia. Does that help?
But is the confidence dead then? Is the confidence dead? If they get smashed by City at the weekend, is the confidence dead going into West Ham? They're on a high now. I don't know. I'm not keen.
One other question, Delia, is what do you think about Palace? So, excluding Gahey and Eze, so we're talking Zaha, probably Anderson, maybe Guaita in goal. I mean, they've got the best fixtures. I think Zaha's a must. That's my opinion of Palace. I think you've got to own Zaha.
I agree. I also quite like the double up with the fixtures. I think if I was wildcarding, I'd take a chance on Anderson at the back.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd go Guaita, because I think that the defenders offer something else. So I probably would go Anderson. And Zaha, but I don't mind a little cheeky punt on Eze.
You've got to have Zaha for Leicester, Wolves, Everton, Southampton, West Ham, Forest, Fulham, Bournemouth.
I mean, he's going to troll us all, but yes, you do have to have him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you don't really need to look that far forward. You only need to look to game week. 16? Because then it's a World Cup break. But so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fixtures. But it's such a nice 6 fixtures. I agree. For Zaha,
which is why I think you can double up. You could go with 2 attackers from Palace if you want to.
Yep. Kesh Studios. Hey, I told you to bring in Firmino as. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't buy it, but I mean, people who've gone with Firmino this season have done really well. He's just scoring like every week, isn't he? It worked for me, but not the Gahey one. This week, planning Reece James to Eric Dyer. That is not as exciting as Bobby Firmino. Sam's boy, Eric Dyer.
I love Eric Dyer.
Yeah, I mean, he is. I think if you're just looking for a really steady, safe pair of hands to get you through, for 6 weeks or so, I think Dyer's probably the best pick because he's going to play. He's got some threat. He's just boring. So
no, he's not.
Boring.
He's great. He's brilliant, and he wants a seat on the World Cup plane.
Yeah,
I am the fully signed up and fledged member of the Eric Dyer fan club right now. I am loving him, and I don't think it's boring. I think it's sensible, actually, to go with Eric Dyer. I think he's a sensible pick. Don't have to worry about rotation. You don't have to worry about him doing anything completely stupid. Spurs are looking fine defensively. They're being all right. They're keeping clean sheets. Some clean sheets. The fixtures that we've got over the next couple of weeks, there should be more clean sheets that come in that time. Yeah, sign me up. I'm going to bring in Eric Dyer on wildcard. I might even do it before, to be honest. I might bring Eric Dyer in before.
For Eric Dyer. Yep. Well, I'm going Doherty because I like pain.
But I think it's different though, because but I get that for 2 weeks. If you're doing a wildcard till the international break into the World Cup, then I think you go Dyer. If you're doing it for 2 weeks like you are because you're going back to Cancelo, then have some fun with Matt Doherty. What a phrase.
Socrates a fling, Dyer's a marriage.
Yes. Yeah.
Stephen Gallagher, happy birthday, Sam. Mitrovic, here's the first Mitrovic question. Do wait for team news. We are going to get an update from Silva today.
What's he going to say, though?
Very mixed reports coming through.
Is he even going to be helpful? Because last week I wouldn't say was very helpful.
No, I mean last week he kind of made it seem that he would be fine for Bournemouth, but we haven't actually seen him training. We've seen an image of him with the squad posing for photos, but
but
not
I mean,
actually
you could go and
training.
pose for the squad. Yeah, you could have a broken leg.
I
And pose
know,
for the squad.
but he didn't have a cast on or any bandages or anything, so people are kind of trying to work
Took
with
them
that.
off just for the picture.
Then there was some training videos, and he wasn't spotted any of those. So yeah, could have done. Yeah, so no one really knows what's going on with Mitrovic. If Mitrovic is out, because otherwise you keep him if he's fit. Mitrovic for Wilson or Nunes. Already have Salah.
Wilson. I love Wilson.
Yeah.
I just think Wilson's a nice pick. Like Nunes, I think that there's a risk that he doesn't get many minutes, like particularly with how good Firmino's being. If we're saying that we think Salah's going to move back into the middle, then that's our problem for Nunez. Like surely then it's a front three of Salah, Firmino, and Jota.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can. Although I've been kind of saying I think Salah's a decent option, I don't think we can really double up on Liverpool attack, given the kind of issues we've had, right?
I do like the Callum Wilson pick though. I think he, with the injuries that Newcastle have, yes, they're protecting him a little bit in terms of minutes and what have you, but when Callum Wilson plays, Callum Wilson scores goals. Like he's a goal scorer. I think he'll do well in the next couple of weeks.
It's a small sample for Wilson, but did you know that when he's been playing, he has over the last 6 weeks he has a better XGI than Haaland.
Wilson's better than Haaland. That's what I'm hearing you say.
That is it. And also he has lovely teeth, and he's a very handsome man. So.
And he seems like a nice bloke.
He's just a really nice guy, and I feel
bring him in.
Yeah, there you go. There's your reasons. There's your really analytical reasons.
We like Callum Wilson on this.
I do. I love Callum Wilson. I think he's great. I think he's a really good footballer. I think he's so injured. He's so unlucky with the injuries that he gets because. If he didn't have the injuries, I think he'd be playing for a top side. I mean, he is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he kind of is playing for a top side now, anyway. But
he's playing for a top side by chance, rather than
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like if he was not injury prone, he would probably have been signed by one of the top six.
Exactly. I think he's a top six player, absolutely, and he's very, very, very good player.
He'll end up at one of the top six because Newcastle are going to be growing, but he could have already been there. I think.
Yeah, agreed. I missed a super chat apparently from Nick.
Who'd you miss?
I missed Nick, apparently. Where's that? Oh, no, Matt. Sorry, Matt. I did miss this one. Bench one. Out of Foden, Martinelli, Zaha, Sterling, Maddison, Tony, and Jesus. This is the problem when you don't go for the two premiums and you have a stacked squad.
Bench boost?
Would you bench boost?
Depends what the rest of the bench is like.
Foden, Martinelli, Zaha.
Of them, I would bench Tony.
Yeah, so would I.
But if you can't, if the rest of your bench it's going to have a couple of defenders in it, isn't it? That's the problem. It's probably going to have two cheap benched defenders in it.
Matt says he's currently benching Sterling. He would be the last one I'd bench out of that lot.
You can't bench Sterling. I'd
away
bench
at
Tony.
Villa. I'd bench Tony as well. That's exactly what I was thinking. Original plan was Foden. You can't bench Foden.
Can't bench Foden.
They're the two out of all of these I definitely wouldn't bench.
And I wouldn't bench Zaha.
No, I wouldn't bench Marcelli against Leeds.
No.
I think it's Maddison or Tony for me.
Maddison against Palace.
It's Maddison or Tony. I wouldn't bench Maddison. I'd bench Tony.
The problem with Maddison is you never really know when he's going to go off on one.
No.
It's either going to be a 1-pointer or a haul, it feels like with Maddison. So Maddison could be one of those that you feel... I don't think that Brentford go massive. They got Brighton, right? I don't think Brentford go massive. Like if they score, it's 1. It's not 3. So I would say that Tony's ceiling is 6, whereas I think the others have got a bigger ceiling. I'd bench Tony. If you're making me pick one, I'll bench Tony.
Yep, I agree. I wouldn't want to bench any of them, but I think I'd. I agree with you. I'd bench Tony out of those. Nihal Kokani, Cancelo to Romero, and Sterling to Son.
The Spurs love here. What is happening today?
I don't like either of those moves this week. I wouldn't sell Sterling away at Villa, and I wouldn't sell Cancelo. Definitely not for a hit.
I mean, this is prep for Gameweek 12, though, isn't it? That's what that is about.
Well, Sterling's still got a game.
The Cancelo one.
Yeah, but...
if it was me, I would do nothing. I'd roll the transfer and deal with it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I'd keep Sterling and I'd sell Cancelo. See, the thing is, then you're making a decision, aren't you? If you're selling Cancelo, then you decide whether you want to bring him straight back in again for game week 13. I think you probably do. And then you have to question whether you're selling him at all. But if you are, then you go for a fun pick that can bring you points in game week 12. And I don't think Romero against Man United is the right pick.
I mean, Nahal's saying he's on a wild card in game week 13, so why not go for Doherty? I am.
Absolutely. If you're wildcarding in game week 13, then but even then, there are other teams like Brighton defence against Nottingham Forest who I would invest in for game week 12 over Spurs against United. United can get a goal against Spurs. So pick one of the Brighton attackers.
So you'd pick a Brighton defender over Doherty if you buy one this week?
For game week 12.
For this week and 12.
So this weekend, I think Doherty will get a clean sheet. Midweek, I don't. He could get attacking returns. So say he gets, across the 2 games, I think he could arguably get 10.
Yep.
Brighton, I think they keep clean sheet against Forest. So that's 6. I think there's a good chance they could clean sheet against Brentford as well. So you could be on 12.
You're supposed to be talking me into Matt Doherty, and now you're trying to sell me a Brighton defender.
What? I kind of assumed that you've already thought about your own defence.
Well, I have, but we were both on the Matt Doherty train, saying what a great option he is for 2 weeks. Now he's a standout. Now you're trying to tell me that Lewis Dunk is the guy.
No,
make your mind up.
Well, no, I like them both. But this is the point, isn't it? If you're wildcarding in game week 13, you can play with it. Like you don't have to. Like Romero is not a player I would go. If I'm wildcarding in 13, I wouldn't pick Romero for the next 2 weeks.
No,
all you've got from Romero is a yellow card and.
But I don't like either of those moves. I don't like Cancelo to Romero or Sterling to Son for a hit. I definitely don't like that.
No, I wouldn't do either. I'd hold the transfer this week, and then in midweek next week, if you have to sell Cancelo to get a full team out, then sell him for somebody fun, like Doherty, like Dunk, like somebody that you don't care about having long term. That's what I'm trying to say badly, clearly. Yeah,
I would just keep Cancelo this week. I think that game against Liverpool, he could get attacking returns in that. I would just keep him. I won't do anything. Al-Basadi Ahmed, Neco Williams to Webster, Wilson to Tony, or
do you want to sell Wilson?
Or just James to Webster? Yeah, why on earth would you sell Wilson for Tony?
I wouldn't do Wilson for Tony.
I guess to get the funds to do Williams to Webster. Or should I just sell James for Webster?
How much more expensive is he, Webster?
Webster's 4.5. Williams is 4, wasn't he at the start?
4.1. Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't sell Wilson.
Do you think? All right, here's one for you. Do you think that Webster is the best Brighton defender?
The stats suggest he is.
But the eye test for me.
The trouble with Dunk is he's either got or he's close to the record for the most own goals in the season. And I'm not joking when I say he is. I've never seen a player more likely to get an own goal than he is. It's unbelievable. The flip side of that is the flip side is he does take some free kicks occasionally for no reason. He's not particularly good at them, but he does take them. And
like Harry Kane.
Yeah, and he has been our main goal threat from defence, for the last couple of seasons, just not this year. I just think Webster is being targeted more from corners, and he has a better baseline bonus. So, and he doesn't.
I mean, somehow I've got Veltman, who's not even in anyone's conversation. All right. But I mean, I've got Veltman on my bench. He's coming in for game week 12, so that's fine. I look, if Reece James is difficult. Are we hearing from Potter today?
Yeah.
He's not going to tell the truth, is he, Potter?
There's no way that James is going to be fit for this week or midweek.
No, but if he was fit...
No way. No way. He was on crutches after the game. There's absolutely no way James starts the next 2 games. No way. I would be amazed. Jake's grumbling behind me, if you can hear him. He agrees with me.
Jake's not happy about Potter either.
No, he's not.
He's not happy.
He'll bite him in the face if he ever sees him.
One of my cats was crying at me earlier. I think Neco Williams is a worry because I think he's lost his spot.
Yeah.
Now, I think he'll get minutes over the next 2 weeks because Aurier is not going to be able to play 90 for a while yet. So Nico Williams is going to get like 20 minutes at the end of game. So if you are happy for a 1-pointer, then fine. Just keep him and deal with it whenever on international break. Don't know why I keep calling it that on the World Cup. Deal with it then.
It technically is an international break.
I suppose it is. Yeah, I suppose I'm not totally wrong there, am I? But if you're, I think it depends on where you are for game week 12, doesn't it? If you're scrabbling around for players in game week 12 and you want assurances, then rather than taking a -4 to take out a player like Wilson, who I think could be great for you over the next couple of weeks, then just do the Reece James down.
Yeah.
Is that what you would do?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd only reluctantly sell Reece James. I mean, unless Potter comes out and says he's out for 2 months or 3 months, then obviously it's an easy sell. But the rumours are, and this is going out very early before Potter's press conference, is that he's hoping to be back by United. But I just don't. I think he could be out for a while. He's done his knee ligaments. They reckon he's not going to be back in a week. He's definitely going to miss two. He's definitely going to miss the next 2 games.
I want him back by midweek.
I mean, it's hard to answer that question because if James is out for a while, then James to Webster I think is a good move because we've got 2 good fixtures coming up, and then you can kind of assess. If James is still might be back, then I think you want to keep him because you're going to want him back pretty soon because Chelsea's fixtures stay really nice. I like Williams to Webster, but I wouldn't sell Wilson. So I don't really know how to answer this question. Yeah, you got to wait. You got to wait for the press conference with Potter and see.
I think you do. You absolutely have to wait for Potter to say something that will be irrelevant, and we won't have any more clarity on, who he's going to start or what have you, because that's what happened last week with Potter. He said some stuff and then it was different. Looking around that price bracket, there is the players. There's no one.
A good point from SBAM is that you mentioned Aurier not being able to play 90 minutes. Well, that could work in Neco Williams' favour because it could be Aurier starting the next game, and then when you need him, Williams comes in.
That's true.
Midweek.
That is definitely true. I mean, Aurier is not fully fit. I mean, you saw on Monday night the level of strapping that he had around his leg. He's just not able. I mean, he was barely able to play full matches for Spurs when he was there. He's not fully fit. So
you wish you couldn't play full matches for Spurs when he was there.
So he's not going to be. That is a very valid point. He probably gets the start on Saturday, but then does he get the start again in midweek? Maybe not. Maybe Williams does get the start in midweek when we all need him. Maybe Williams is our little ray of sunshine that suddenly provides us all with a bit of light-hearted relief. I think it's all on Potter. I think you have to wait for Potter.
Yeah.
Whatever Potter says, he's going to make the decision, but probably it's Reece James out if Potter says anything other than he's back.
It's not the best answer, but we can't really. Yeah. If Potter says James out for a while, do the move to Webster. If James is going to be fit soonish, maybe he hasn't done his ligaments and he's expected to be back in a week, then you keep him.
Maybe it's just a bruise.
Yeah. Deck, KDB. I'm not sure why KDB's there. KDB, keep Trossard or Son. Got a wild card. You definitely keep Trossard for the next 2. Trossard is one of the best picks in the game for the next 2. Brentford and Forest at home. No brainer. Son, I think
if you've got Son, you keep, don't you?
Yep.
I don't see any reason why you'd sell Son or Trossard this week. Son against Everton, Trossard against Brentford, then Trossard against Nottingham Forest. I mean, he's a player I want. I want to buy Trossard.
Yeah, same. And KDB, I think if you've got a wild card in your pocket, I think you can keep him for this week, sell him for someone next week. Maybe if you don't want Salah, but maybe like Sterling, like you mentioned, or someone, and have a bit of fun with it, and then wild card him back in if you want him afterwards. So
or wild card to Foden afterwards.
Yeah. So keep Trossard, keep Son, keep KDB for 1 week, and then potentially bring someone else in afterwards. Lovely. That's it. That's all the super chats done. I will take some just other questions from the chat. Right, a lot of people saying just sell James, but obviously you can sell him, but then he might be back soon.
I'm going to wait for Potter.
Vindy, what about Edouard? There you go. There's another Palace player we mentioned. What do you think of Edouard?
Yeah, I mean, I like Palace. I like the way they play. I like the football that they're past the eye test for me. Every time I watch Palace, I like them. And I think if you want to go, Zaha's a differential as he is, to be honest, because he's still not very highly owned. So he's still going to give you a nice green arrow. But if you want to take advantage of the really nice run of fixtures that Palace have got. I mean, they're top of the ticker. Like they look like the team fixture-wise to invest in, and the form is arguably there as well. So, yeah, Edouard, Eze, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, Edouard, the problem with Edouard's always been minutes. He started the season playing 57, then 27, 69, 66, 36, 27. That's awful. Like, that's exactly what you don't want. But he's played 85-ish minutes in the last 2 games, scored 2 in 2. Yep. So he's going to start. I mean, it's a good run of games. I'd always have an exit strategy with him. The thing is, he's 5'3", so he's cheap.
You also have kind of got the exit strategy in the World Cup, haven't you? So worst case scenario, if he suddenly stops getting minutes, or he can score off the bench. We've seen that from him before, like come off the bench and get stuff. So, even if he suddenly drops down after game week 12, you don't necessarily need all your bench players anyway. So if we bench him for a few weeks, that's fine. And you can just deal with it over the unlimited transfer window. Like I think it's a punt I would take, depending upon what my team was set out like at the moment.
Yep. Blake Young, De Zerbi does look like you as. Don't know what Mark is talking about. See? I think he looks
You do look alike.
Thank you.
What did Mark say you didn't?
He scoffed at me. Scoffed at the very suggestion that I looked a bit like De Zerbi.
You do.
Thank you.
More attractive.
Oh, thanks. Oh, flirt, klaxon. Ding, 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 ding. But yeah, I mean, I'd hope I look a bit more attractive than De Zerbi. He's getting on a bit, isn't he? He must be mid... No, he's young. Maybe mid-40s.
I don't reckon he's that much older than... Well, you're
really?
Younger than me. I don't reckon he's that much older than me.
Let's have a look. He's older than... He'd
be older than me, but I don't think he'd be loads older than me.
He's 43. Okay, he's younger than I thought he was.
So he's not that much older than me.
Yeah. You're 30-something, mid-30s, aren't you?
30-something. I am 30-something, yeah.
30-something.
Yeah, 30-something. I'll let you take a guess, but I'm not answering it live on air. Say off, sir. Too many 30-somethings.
Yeah, Vindy says 47. Not you, it's De Zerbi. I thought De Zerbi was like 47.
I don't think he is. He's 43.
He's 43.
Right?
Yeah, he's 43.
Yeah, so he's not that much older than me.
No. God, we've really got sidetracked now. We've done
because I started flirting with you. See,
I know. See, look how bashful I am. And
now you've gone.
It's older women. It's just that's what I like.
They'll be calling me a cougar now.
Is there any other questions? Not really. Everyone's arguing with each other. That's it's always nice. Quite a few people talking about Dunk. Quite a few people like Dunk. I like Dunk as well.
I do.
Yeah, I think. Tupper says Az looks 32. That's good because I am 32. Am I? Yeah, I am 32.
What a guess.
Oh, it's a great guess.
That's a good guess.
I'm being sold actually. Man, I was hoping I'd look a bit younger. Oh, I've really got distracted now. I can't find any decent questions. We've answered Matt Henley. I mean, there's questions like Ain Moore, Kilman in for James. Kilman. I mean, are we really going down the Kilman route? Sure. Have you heard they're looking to get Nuno back?
They're not.
They are. That is what I've read today.
Where is Nuno now? Isn't he like...
Oh,
he's somewhere.
Has it?
He's gone somewhere, right?
Has
yeah,
he?
I'm sure.
Oh God.
I'm sure I already got a job.
The only good thing about Nuno going back would be if Doherty went back to Wolves.
Doherty's going to become borderline essential at Spurs. He's not going back.
Okay, we've had 3 questions about Kilman now, so we're going to have to answer it. Let me just grab Kilman's stats. So he's 4-5. Wolves' fixtures are Forest, Palace, Leicester, Brentford, Brighton. That's not bad.
They're not horrible.
They currently don't have a manager, and they've conceded 8 goals in their last 3 games and haven't scored. No. get Dunk or Webster at the same price. Get Dyer, get Doherty, get Cucurella if you can afford it. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Come on, Wolves are a team to target, like not to buy their players.
If Wolves sign a manager in the next week, maybe, but until they've got a manager,
we haven't got a week. We've only got a few hours. The deadline's in 5 hours.
But if you're looking like, so say you want rid of Nico Williams as a long-term thing up until the World Cup, then I don't mind the Max Kilman thing later on. But right now, with no manager, with no wins, I mean, they're all right. They're not that bad defensively. Like the 3-0 to Chelsea skews it quite a lot. I mean, they've been okay. There's enough clean sheets in there that they're not that bad. They just don't score any goals. So Max Kilman isn't horrific. But like you say, there's loads of better options out there. The Nunless and the Spurs and the Brighton boys who we've talked about a lot. It feels like we've done a lot of Spurs and Brighton today.
That's not who'd have thought that with us.
Who'd have thought?
I think any Wolves player is an awful option. There's a few people mentioning Johnny now. I mean, what's the benefit of going for Johnny over Kilman? What, you think there's going to be attacking returns? There's not going to be any attack. It's got about 3 goals all season. They're a horrible side, Wolves. There's no way I would want any spot in my team being filled up with a Wolves player. They haven't even got any centre. I mean, you get Kilman. Who's he partnered with at the moment? They've been playing bloody Neves at centre back. They went to back 3 with some like 16-year-old and Neves and Kilman, and got absolutely battered against West Ham. No, you can do better. You can do better than Kilman. Not having it. And Johnny, not having it.
Got to look where Nuno Espirito Santo is.
Yeah, not having it at all. He's in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I knew he was somewhere. I knew he'd got a job.
Yeah.
There
Well,
you
yeah. Right, that's it.
Oh, that's enough.
That's enough
now.
That's enough.
We've gone Wolves deep.
I've ranted too much about Kilman. Thank you everyone for tuning in and watching us. It's been a really good stream. I really enjoy these. Don't forget the deadline is in a couple of hours. Was it 6 o'clock?
6:30.
6:30. Okay, so make sure your teams are locked in. Team news will be with Neil and Joe at 2:30. It won't be me
Where were
because
you?
I am getting my internet upgraded.
Oh, yes.
So I should look even better quality.
Yeah, well, your quality
forward.
video is much better than mine today. I don't know what I've done to my webcam. I'm now wondering whether my actual camera has not connected, and I've just noticed.
I have a dog who wants to come.
Oh, look, here comes Jake.
He's got his thing around his nose. Yep, good. Right, we've got massively sidetracked again. Thank you, everyone. We will be back soon. Check out Neil and Joe on the team news to hear about Mitrovic at 2:30. Sam, thank you as always for joining me, and we'll see you again very soon.
Thanks, guys.